Werewolf by Night came out this last weekend, which I I felt like it came out sooner than I was expecting. I mean, knew it was going to be coming out around Halloween, well, October. But yeah, it kind of just snuck up. Like, we had felt like one trailer. I'd heard about this project for some time. Like, people said this was coming, and then we hadn't heard anything. I believe we didn't hear anything at Comic-Con, and then we got the trailer with D23, and now here it is. And I have to say, it's the best thing Marvel has put out on Disney Plus. Like, there's been, I've been feeling a lot with like the Disney Plus Marvel projects. They just haven't lived up to their potential. Some of them have been very disappointing. Some of them have been pretty good, but even like, say, WandaVision, which I really did enjoy a lot, I felt like it didn't quite stick the landing, and there's just different parts about it that just didn't quite hold, especially in hindsight when it comes to like Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. But this project, Werewolf by Night, is something that's entirely self-contained, at least for the moment. You have entirely new characters. It's a very well done homage to the horror films of the I think 40s, 50s, maybe earlier 30s, and it's just this entirely new, fresh take that, other than like a couple characters, doesn't even seem like it is necessarily in the MCU. There's a lot of things which I was even reading up a little bit more that, like, if you're a hardcore comics fan, you probably know more about these characters than I do. Like the whole Bloodstone. There's the character of I think Elias Bloodstone. She's from the comics. She has a kind of a different look in the comics, but she's from the comics. So I was reading a little bit about that. And then you have the werewolf Jack, and then Man-Thing, which I don't know the publishing history behind, because you also have Swamp Thing. Isn't that his name, from DC Comics? And then you have Man-Thing, which came first? Because the little bit I read about Man-Thing's origin seemed very similar to what I know about Swamp Thing. It's one of those things where like Marvel and DC copy each other so much that like they just have like what seems like the same kind of character. So I don't know that much about Man-Thing, but he was a cool character in this, and the effects were very impressive. I don't know how much was CG. I mean, obviously there was some CG when it came to Man-Thing, but I was reading also there was a lot more practical than you would necessarily think. I mean, it wasn't like just entirely, slapping an entire CGI character into it. But I haven't looked too much into it. So yeah, I have to say, if you're on the fence about Werewolf by Night, I say go watch it. It's a legitimately good short movie. I think it's only like 55 minutes with credits, and it doesn't have like the overly long credits like some of the Marvel shows have had. So I mean, it's a nice tight story. It doesn't go on too long, and it feels like you get a full story at the same time. I have to say, I really love the style of it. The black and white works really well for this kind of story they're telling. It also kind of makes sense by the end. It's not really spoilers. It's a little bit. There's kind of a reason for it that makes sense at the end, and the characters were well written and interesting. One criticism I did hear that I would agree with a little bit is that some of the other hunters didn't really have any personality other than they were there. So I think it could have used a little bit more just to flesh out some of those other characters so that you know, maybe feel something when stuff is happening to them or think something about them. But I think it still works. Like, it's not too worse for wear for not having some development with some of the other characters. But yeah, that would be my one criticism, that some of the other characters in this don't quite get enough to them, other than, I mean, there's like one specific character I'm thinking of, like the I don't know any of their names. It's like the slightly androgynous character. Yeah, they're kind of just there, and then they attack later, and then they're part of the thing, and then yeah, they don't. I can't remember if they even say anything. I can't even remember if they're a man or a woman. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, that would be my one criticism. But overall, still have to say, a fantastic I was going to say series or show. It's just a fantastic movie. A very short movie, but it's worth watching, you know. And it's definitely the best thing Marvel has done on Disney Plus, which is a little disappointing to say, considering some of the kind of shows that they've been putting out on Disney Plus. That this is much better than pretty much everything. Thanks so much for watching, whether you're watching here live or later on the full video or in a segmented video. If you have anything comments to make about whether you disagree with what I said, feel free to leave those comments below. Hit that like button, smash that subscribe thing or whatever. You know the whole YouTube spiel by now. If you've watched YouTube, I'm assuming you've watched YouTube if you're watching this. Anyway, go ahead, do all those things if you want. If you don't, I don't know, don't do them. I'm not gonna force you to do anything. And